Welcome back to The Weekend. It's social media trends on the show. This is the segment of the show where we bring you some of the biggest events that are shaping conversations in the Nigerian social media. First of all, we go straight to Twitter, where the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar fired off a tweet a couple of days ago. I commend NGR President Buhari for paying medical bills of a blind corps member 5 months to the 2019 election. But I remind him that if he had invested the public funds he spent on his London medicals on public health care, he wouldn't need to do this. The former Vice President Atiku Abubakar posted that a couple of days ago, and that generated some responses. But before we go straight to the responses, joining me now is Tonye Isokariari, political lobbyist and political analyst. Tonye, nice to have you on The Weekend.
Thank you. How are you doing?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yeah, so this has been trending. We've seen a couple of reactions to these on Twitter. Atiku, you actually wrote this. Something must definitely be wrong somewhere. You were vice president of this country for 8 years, as much as I can remember. This is a complete attestation to yourself and your party's failure for 16 years. Hashtag shameless elite, change to progress. Twitter user at Shitu10 replied, Atiku, let's take a look at a few more responses, then I'll come to you very shortly. If the government you served for 8 years and your party being in power for 16 years had invested in our public health system, the blind copper would not need Buhari's help to settle his bill, and Buhari may not have the need to travel to UK. This pettiness will not fetch you presidency. Mr. Abubakar Siddiq Usman tweeted in response to Vice President Atiku. Tonye, we're seeing this issue here of the former vice president throwing a shade at President Buhari that if the medical system in Nigeria had been fixed, there wouldn't be need to donate for the medical bills of the blind corps member. And of course, you can see the backlash that followed. What do you think is going on here?
Well, I think it's pure pettiness from the former vice president. I think is a, well, I would say it's like a cheap political point, you know, because I know that, or we've heard before, that he has been, you know, undergoing medical whatever from outside the country too. So it's like, you know, those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, basically. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And he was part of the government, the previous administration, for 8 years.
He
was vice president.
Yes.
And,
what did he do, basically?
So basically, he's not in a moral position to throw this shade at President Buhari.
At all.
Well, let's take a look at more reactions and we go straight to other issues that have trended across the week. You are right on point, H.E. Atiku, patiently waiting for you to come right all the wrongs of this Buhari administration. Buhari has failed in all facets. Can't wait to see him pass that baton of leadership to your humble self so that we can begin to enjoy true dividends of democracy. Shegun Adeye, tweeting at CGAD01, replied he seems to be taking sides with Atiku's comment. We'll go straight more, we'll take a look at more issues that have trended across the week. And of course, Tony, during the week, we saw the case of the man who says he's trekking against the ruling government. The same guy trekked in 2015 when President Buhari became president. And now he's trying to trek again, this time around, against this government. Let's take a look at that video. Interesting. Man begins trek from Lagos to Abuja to show anger towards Buhari. I can see the coffin on the head and watching that interview. Well, it said RIP APC, and someone said, interestingly, that RIP could actually mean not rest in peace, but remain in power.
Well, true.
So, but what do you think of these this issue of does this represent a popular opinion of Nigerians and how they feel about this current government?
You see, what I like about what's going on is the increased awareness and participation of Nigerians on the leadership of our country. So as far as I'm concerned, the more people participating, the better for Nigerians. So that, because if you look at the statistics of people who actually contributed in this present government or to bring this present government to power, it's a bit abysmal. So the more people come in, getting interested in what's going on, the better for Nigerians, so that we can begin to see better representation than what we have presently.
So you think this represents some form of an attempt to participate. This is a form of protest.
Yes, protest is part of participating.
Participation.
Yes, and I feel that, you know, the more people come out to speak up or speak their mind. You can be speaking for the government, you can be speaking against the government, but my interest is let more people come into the situation and begin to participate and talk about these things.
Okay, well, very quickly we move on to other issues that have been trending during the week. Comments, a lot of Nigerians have been responding. We take a look at more issues that trended during the week. Well, the free Owerri 112, the women have actually been finally released yesterday. The issue trended over the Nigerian social media for a few days. About 100 women who were detained by the police for demanding the whereabouts of Nnamdi Kanu. We saw that during the week. And INEC also saying that he did not budget 6 billion to feed the Nigerian police. That was quite alarming when we first got the news about INEC trying to feed Nigerian police with 6 billion naira. Now they've come out officially to say that there is no such budget to feed the Nigerian police. We go on to more issues that have trended during the week. We strongly request that INEC looks into its internal handling of official correspondence and put a stop to these leaks. While the leaked formal notification to INEC has been done by the APC pursuant to the provisions of Section 85 of the 2010 Electoral Act as amended, well, there's a continuation of that tweet, but we stop here. We'll take a look at this tweet. This is a tweet from Yekini. Let's go back to the previous slide. This is a tweet from Yekini Nabena, who is the spokesperson of the APC. Yesterday, we got news that the presidential primaries of the APC will be happening on the 19th of September. In a leaked letter that was published, and the APC is now accusing INEC of leaking that letter. What do you think is going on?
Well, I don't understand that accusation because, I mean, it's not supposed to be like a secret document or a secret activity. Your primaries must hold.
Exactly.
You know, so it's the accusation. As far as I'm concerned, you're just making you're taking up the political space. Just move aside. INEC will do what they need to do to sensitize the public. We need to know.
I thought this was overreacting.
Yes, as far as I'm concerned.
APC officially could have ignored this issue.
There are some things that you should just ignore.
We definitely were going to know
yes,
anyway.
we're going to know. So it's not a hidden, agenda or whatever you want to call it.
The primaries of a political party is a public issue.
It's a public issue, and it's in fact it's very public. We need to know. Nigerians need to know actually when these dates and what the individuals that are actually going to represent us.
Okay, very quickly now we move on to the next issue. Former spokesperson of the APC, Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, has thrown his hat into the ring for Kwara State governorship. Quite interesting. After he resigned as spokesperson of the APC, now he's seeking to run for governor of Kwara State under the PDP. What do you think are his chances?
Personally, I think he's a perfect gentleman. I've had a few run-ins with him. I think he's one of the few people that young people should look up to. If he dumped the APC for PDP, it's just based on his peculiar circumstances. I don't think there's any issue about it.
He's considered as one of the loyalists of the Senate President, Bukola Saraki.
Whether he's a loyalist or not, individuals are allowed to be or do whatever they need to do. People should stop, talking about whether he's a loyalist or not. Is he competent? Those are the questions we need to ask.
It seems to me that Kwara is going to be a battleground between the APC and the PDP in 2019.
It will definitely.
There are also feelers that Alhaji Lai Mohammed, the Minister of Information,
wants to be governor.
Also wants to be governor of Kwara State.
Well, let's watch and see. Let's see. I believe that any state that has been largely dented, by APC, or APC has been dented in that state, APC will want to show a lot of weight,
exactly,
to try and see how they can win over, just like they did in,
well, when we are hearing
Akwa Ibom
saying that it's going to be like how Germany invaded Poland.
Well, let's watch and see. Politicians a lot of times they speak. They speak big, and sometimes those talks don't really have a lot of things behind it. So let's watch and see. And like I said, I believe he's a good candidate. I don't know the other candidates, but I believe he's a strong candidate. And if given the opportunity, we'll see, what he will do.
Well, we'll see how that happens.
Yeah.
The people of Kwara will ultimately decide who their next governor is. Now we go straight to entertainment. For a couple of weeks ago, Davido was in the news for acquiring a private jet. And at this point, I'd like to invite, while Tonye takes his leave, I'd like to invite entertainment correspondent Ina Peters to join me on the set. Ina, it's a beautiful Saturday morning. We're talking entertainment now.
Yeah. I feel like, when am I going to call me? Look, we're wearing white. Like, I have white on,
I'm
you guys.
all white. Like this one need to see, it says all white kaftan, like a stripe on the tom-tom.
What's
See
going
how
on?
we got famous where we come from. Wallah, it's from teaspoons to lump sum.
Okay.
I can rap, fool. Forget that.
Great. Good morning, Nigeria. Great to be back here, really.
All right.
I mean,
I think at this point, I leave you in the capable hands of Ina Peters to take you on a tour of the latest happenings in the Nigerian entertainment scene.